Well, hello there. Good morning. Good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about installing Parrot OS and the reason the title says Kali in parentheses is because it's pretty much the same install. They both use Calmaris. They both are based on Debian Testing. But Parrot is a better product, especially for the new user, because there's the AC coming on. Sorry about that. It's still hot here, so it's going to come on occasionally. The Parrot OS does a much better job at personal security and privacy. You have to remember, if you're planning to do any kind of hacking, if you can see them, they can see you. If you can get to them, they can get to you. So you want your system to protect you from that. Okay, so let's go get Parrot Security, parrotsec.org. If you're ever unsure as to the official website, go to distro.watch and there'll be a link there to the official. So there are several versions. There's the Home Edition, which is basically their full edition without the security tools. Workstation, privacy, development, and then here are the requirements. The Security Edition basically says all the exact same things, except it has a little more storage space it wants. And pen test ready. Does the other one say? I didn't think the other one said that. Maybe that's what was different. No. So this one, the security, says pen test ready with development tools. So it's pretty much the exact same as the Home Edition with the security tools. Now, you can get the Home Edition if you don't think you're going to need the security tools at first, or you just want this as kind of a Debian testing rolling release, then you can certainly go that way. However, adding the tools afterwards are not there. I don't know, and I've looked for years. There's no meta package to just install all the tools. There's a script that Kali has available called KA Toolin that lets you install all the Kali tools to any Debian-based system. But why would you add a Kali repo to this? And why would you use the Kali tools when the Parrot tools comes with additional tools than Kali does, like about half a dozen additional tools? So that's the other reason why I prefer that. Now you could install the Home Edition the way I'm going to show you, with the file system in one partition and the home in the other partition, and then when you want to upgrade to the Security Edition, simply download the file system without changing home, and you're there. I'm not going to go over the cloud or the architect or the Raspberry. Just know that you can, know that it has those additions, and I'm not going to bother clicking on download because I've obviously downloaded it already. So if you're on a Windows machine, download it, and wherever it puts it, make sure you know where it puts it, and you'll be able to get that ISO, which is a raw data image, which you then have to convert into a bootable USB. And this is the tool I recommend. Rufus is also used on Windows and is extremely good, but I don't have a Windows machine to demonstrate that to you. There are more choices there, so i.e. more places to make mistakes. Although the default works 99% of the time that I've used Rufus. Then there's Ventoy, which allows you to put multiple ISO images on a single USB and be able to pick one you want to boot for. I love it. I use it. Again, I know how to install it on Linux and make a Ventoy. I don't know how to do it on Windows, and I don't have a machine to test it. So we're going to go with this very simple, straightforward one, and it comes in a variety of flavors. The 64-bit. It's an app image, even though it doesn't say app image like this 32-bit does. And app image don't require actual installation. You just double click on the app image and it runs. Installer, and then there's portable for Windows, and I think that's the same as the app image, except it's an exe file. I haven't used it in many years, so that would be the one I'd go for if you really want to do this, to do Etcher on your Windows. And then of course there's Etcher for Mac OS, and again, I don't know how that gets installed. They don't have a Mac system. I assume it works exactly the same way because it's BSD, which is Linux-like. Not Linux-like. It's Unix-like, and therefore it should work pretty much the same way. So you would go ahead and download it. I've obviously downloaded it already, and here's how you launch it. And then you say flash from file. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Parrot Security. I'm going to open that. I'm going to select the target. I had Parrot Home on that before, but we're going to overwrite it. 8 GB is a good size. And we're going to select that, and then we're going to flash it. I have to put in my Linux password. Okay, and it's going to start going. It's going to take, wow, this is 15 minutes. It's a long one. Okay, and then probably another 10 minutes to verify it, to validate it. So we're going to just put that away for now. We're going to put this away for now. Oh, before I put it away and do my reveal, once you have that all ready to go, you need to boot your machine somehow from the USB. Usually F12, sometimes delete, DEL, sometimes ESC, sometimes F1, sometimes F2. Also, for this installation, normally I say have legacy /CSM /BIOS mode, whatever your system calls it, have that disabled. But not this time, because this time we're going to emulate putting it on to a flash drive, which in my opinion is the best way to run an OS such as this. Of course, you can install it to your hard drive. You can install it as a dual boot. You can install it as UEFI or GPT with BIOS if your machine is only BIOS. If your machine is UEFI. When I get to talking about the G part it and how to set up the drive, if you look at one of my other installs for complete beginners like Linux Mint, you'll see I go over the G part it more on how to do it for dual booting or how to do it for GPD on a BIOS machine. And so take a look at that. But for this, I'm just going to go straight with BIOS MS-DOS MBR boot. Okay, so again, we can get rid of this. Once you boot up your machine with that installer, come on, with that installer in, you're going to get this. Why is my mouse not working? I don't know. Okay, now it's behaving. I'm going to do full screen. Okay. Let me tell you about Kali and Parrot. They're tools. That's all they are. They're tools. See all this? All the pen testing? Tools. Just because you own all the tools to do plumbing work or you own all the tools to do carpentry doesn't make you a carpenter or a plumber. You need to actually learn the skill. And that's going to be the same thing with this. This just provides you the tools if you need to do that. Let me tell you another thing about hacking. If you hack anybody's router or machine or Wi-Fi network and you don't have permission, that's unethical hacking, and in some jurisdictions you'll go to jail if you get caught. And if you think you won't go to jail, if you're new to this, you're going to jail because you don't know how to cover your tracks. If you barely know those tools, you're going to jail. So practice on your own machine, in your own network, in your own house. Leave your neighbors alone. Don't try to hack your girlfriend's Facebook account. Just use this for ethical reasons. So a friend says, hey, I think someone's, hacking my router. Can you take a look? And then, yes, then you can take a look and you can see what their vulnerabilities are and try to hack in and tell them, okay, here's what I found. Here's what you got to change. That's legitimate white hat hacking. If you get paid by a company to go sit at their hotspot and try to hack into their network via their hotspot, legitimate, as long as they know you're doing it, and even better if they're paying you to do it, that's all legitimate. Okay, so before we install, we're going to go to gparted, which is how I begin most of these. Alright, now 32 gig, let's pretend this 32 gig virtual drive is actually a USB drive with 32 gig. This is the minimum. You'd be better off with 64, but you could get by with a 32 gig as long as you have a way to save. If you're downloading files to analyze for later, you're going to have a place to save them because this is not going to leave much room. So the first thing you want to do to that USB is to create a partition table. We're going to create MS-DOS. Typically, I'll create GPT, but in this instance, because we're using a USB, we're going to say MS-DOS. Did I say turn on legacy and turn on CSN, enable those for this, for being able to do this and boot? You have to be able to boot from that as a USB. Alright, I guess we'll let that happen. And I need to show you something real quick. You need to make sure, let's open a terminal. Probably Mate terminal is what they have. Yeah, Mate terminal. That's, I guess, how they pronounce. This is the DE is Mate with the dual panels and two different menus. I'm not quite sure I ever understood it. The few times I've used Mate, I got rid of one of the panels. So this command -m for machine okay, see where it says BIOS? Whatever this is doesn't matter, whoever BIOS it is. What matters is this says BIOS. It might say UEFI, you know, so that tells you how this booted. There are other things you can check, but that's quickest and easiest way to do it. Alright, so before we install it, we know it's set for BIOS. Alright, so we're going to make two partitions, one for the file system / and one for home. By doing this way, that will give you the ability to upgrade or replace the file system. So, for example, you want it to go from the home edition to the security edition. You could just replace that, and then you'd be ready to go, because you kept all your files and your program settings and desktop settings all live in home, which we're going to do. Okay, so that's done. So now we're going to do the install Parrot. Okay, we're going to say pick your language. I'm going to say yes. Pick your location. I'm on the west coast of the United States. I think Vancouver is good, but we'll do Los Angeles. You can pick your keyboard. We're going to do manual partitioning. You could do the whole drive. You could replace just a partition. Install alongside. Not a fan of this one. Install alongside. I like this one. And we're already set up. Okay. So this one, we're going to format that. It's going to be an ext4. The mount point is going to be /. / includes all of these other mount points. So it's everything, unless we pull it out, put one of them somewhere else. So we're going to say OK. We're going to go to this one, double click on it. We're going to I'm going to leave keep for a second so I can explain something. Alright. I'm going to say /home. Okay, so if there's stuff in /home, keep. Don't format. And then you'll be able to reuse your /home with your new OS. I wouldn't mix and match families. Like I wouldn't upgrade from, you know, this to Black Arch, you know, something Arch based. But if you're going from, probably go from this to Kali without issues. You could certainly go from this to Seduction, SID-uction. Okay, so we have those two ready to go. We're going to make sure it's putting it in the right place. Master boot record of VDA. Just the drive name, no numbers after it. We're going to say next. And here it is telling me, oh, GPT is better if you can do it at GPT. I'm not a fan of doing GPT on USB sticks. If you were doing this to an external drive, then yes, follow some of the directions from my other videos about how to make a GPT partition table for BIOS. Okay, so we're going to say okay. We're going to give it a username. Well, put in my name, then it gives me a username, then we'll give the machine a name. Then we're going to get a password. And I'm going to say and log in automatically without asking for the password. And I'm going to tell you it's not going to work. I've already tested it, and I've seen this problem on several Debian based systems. You tell it to log in automatically and it doesn't do it. And there's a configuration file you have to go in to change it to force that. And most. Turns out Parrot has an easy to use tool. So we're going to say next. We're going to verify it's going where I told it to go. Then we're going to say install. Remember, this is going to be, this here, it better be your USB. Like, so SDC or SDB or whatever your USB is. It's got to be that one. Okay? Otherwise, it won't boot. So we're going to install. Install now. Alright, this is going to take a few minutes, obviously. So we're going to pause it and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, and we're back. With that 2157 I bought, so about 6 minutes to install. Now we're going to say done and let it restart. Okay, we're going to go full screen. Time's out. Parrot OS. Okay, as you can see, even though I told it to log me in automatically, it wants my password. Now I'm going to fix that first before I do anything else, just to show you how quick it is. So you're going to do here, you're going to do administration, login window, again your user password. Okay, you're going to go to users. You're going to type in your username, make sure it's correct, upper, lowercase, and all that good stuff, which should be all lowercase for usernames. I run into a couple that let you have uppercase. We're going to say 0 because we want it to do it automatically. And you don't have to save or anything, just leave that there, close it, and then let's reboot it real fast. Okay. Now watch as it goes straight into Parrot OS. And there it is. Boom. Okay, now first thing we always do is update your system. You can do it manually in the terminal with the sudo apt update ampersand sudo apt upgrade -y, and that'll update your cache and upgrade. But I want to see, you always want to see if there's some kind of built-in updater. So I'm going to put in update and check for update. You want to upgrade your system? Yes. It's doing. It's basically doing. Hey guys. Sorry about that. Let me pause this for a while I quiet them down. Plus that's going to take a few minutes. Okay, looks like it's just about done. Oh no, it's about to install the packages. Pretty much done fetching them. That took a couple minutes. Let's see. It's going to take a while. We'll go back to pause. Parrot updater, your system is upgraded. I need to pause another second. Okay. So before I say goodbye, I want to show you two things you might want to add to this system. One of them is called Burp Suite. So just like that, Burp Suite. And this is how we look for things in the repo. Sudo apt search Burp Suite, and you see it here. This is a really good security testing platform. You want this first one, just Burp Suite, that's fine. And it's in the Parrot, and it's not as extensive as all the tools that come with this, but it has really good online what do I want to say, tutorials for you to learn about security testing. So you may want to install that. I'm not going to install that. That is really big and took longer to install that than to install and test when I was testing this earlier. The other thing you want to install, look for, this does not come with your typical software store. It comes with Synaptic Package Manager, which is pretty good. But if you install GNOME software, you're going to get kind of a traditional looking store. Let's see how long it'll. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and install it. That shouldn't take very long. Go back and change this to install. Okay, so yes. Yeah, this is going to install pretty quick. And there it is. So let's close this window. Let's go to the menu. Where are they going to hide that? Graphics, internet, nope. Preferences, programming, nope. System services, system tools, nope. Alright, so I'm just going to say, oh, you want to look at their control center. They have a really nice system settings, is what it's called other places. Control center is what they call it. Really customize and optimize your system. So I'm going to look for, should be able to look for software. something like that. Software by itself, and there it is. Let's go shopping. Don't use it for doing updates. Do that check for updates thing. Well, eventually it should be able to find something. I'm surprised it didn't. Well, I'll have to play with it and see if I can get it to work. Anyways, that was it. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.